Hello, I'm going to tell you about a test that is administered to a student to see if the student qualifies for special education programs. It is called the Woodcock-Johnson-III test. It was published in 1977, revised in 1989, again in 2001, and the most recent revision, the Woodcock-Johnson-IV, the fourth edition, published in 2014 by the Riverside Publishing Company. The original authors were Richard W. Woodcock and Mary E. Bonner Johnson. And the authors in 2001 were Richard W. Woodcock, Kevin S. McGrew, and Nancy Mather. Purpose of the test, according to the Riverside Publishing Company, says that it is a comprehensive, individually administered cognitive assessment that identifies strengths and weaknesses in abilities, processes, and academic performance to assist professionals in the diagnosis of learning disabilities or non-cognitive factors. The results are used in part to assist with the diagnosis of eligibility, placement, and intervention decisions. These test results, along with psychoeducational tests performed by the school psychologists, are administered for triennial IEP meetings every 3 years for special education students and for initial IEP eligibility determination to see if the student qualifies for special education. The development of the test, per the publisher, says that the test is to be a highly accurate and a valid diagnostic tool because the two batteries, standard and extended, were co-normed, meaning that the normative data are based on a single sample. When tests are co-normed, examiners can discover learning differences with fewer errors. According to the publisher, the original sample was selected to represent within practical limits the U.S. population from ages 24 months to 90 plus years. Normative data for the test were gathered from 8,818 subjects in over 100 geographically diverse communities in the United States. The sample consisted of 1,143 preschoolers, 4,784 kindergarten to 12th graders, 1,165 college and university students, and 1,843 adults. This assessment tool consists of 22 subtests measuring 5 curriculum areas: reading, math, written language, oral language, and academic knowledge. These 22 subtests are administered from the beginning of the test in the first book, the standard, with tests 1 through 12, to the end of the second book, extended book, from tests 13 through 22. The books are hardcover, ring-bound binders with an A-frame stand-up format. They're designed this way so that the student can look at one side and I can look at the other side while I'm administering the test. Administrative procedures start with getting all your needed materials together, which includes these two hard-bound books, your student response booklet, your test record booklet, and some materials that you will also need that are not included with this test kit are a scratch paper and a pencil. You will also need a timer or a stopwatch. There's also an examiner's manual that comes with the kit. It can be used before or after the test is completed for explanations of the test, also for evaluation and scoring. There's also included a WCJ-III CompuScore Profiles program for the computer, which eliminates scoring the test by hand and risking the possibility of making any clerical errors. We do read the bold blue letters in each test. And this assessment tool does have some strengths and some weaknesses. The tests are very easy to give, and the testing time isn't too long on each subtest. I am also able to get information from that test that tells me what the student may need help on. The scoring of these tests is not hard to do. Usually the answer is 1 or 0. Some tests can get a score of 2. The weaknesses of this older version of the test are that some of the pictures aren't relevant by today's standards, such as the ironing board or the coin telephone, and there's a story about the 1950s drive-in movie theater. The district does have the newer version of the Woodcock-Johnson-IV test. At the beginning of each test, and I'll show you here, in purple, on the test book itself, or the test manual, it will give you a suggested starting guide, and that will be determined based on the grade level of the student. At the top of each test booklet there is a basal and ceiling. And that would be on this one, the test record. It shows you the basal. It also has the reversal. So when the student reaches their ceiling, then you stop, or the basal is where you begin. If they miss the first 3 and 4 in a row in the subtest, then you would begin in reverse order until they got 3 in a row correct, and so on, continuing to administer the test. Now we're ready to test the student. You begin by establishing a rapport with your student. You also use 2 test booklets per student, and you get him to write the name on both test booklets. You can go back and fill out the rest of the information after the test. You'll notice the response booklet, there's a big white area. I use that for field notes or anything that comes up in the test that I want to make a note of, and that is for may assist in the diagnosis of the student. The student does receive the response booklet where they will be writing on some of their responses. The rest of the booklet is where I will be keeping track of the student's score for each part of the test. And next, give the tests, the subtests, in the order that they appear in the book and record the responses in the test record booklet. However, today I'm showing just a sampling of the subtests administration. I wanted to show you what the blue wording looks like. Here is a sample page. I don't know if you can see the blue. Okay, we will read that, everything word for word as it appears in the bold blue print. And that shows throughout this book. So today I'm going to start with test number 1. It's letter word identification. Hi, Carlos. How are you today? Great. That's nice. We're going to be doing your test for your IEP meeting. And we're going to start with test number 1. Are you comfortable? Okay, here's a pencil. Here's some scratch paper that you might need. Okay, test number 1 is letter word identification. First read the words silently, then say the words smoothly. And for a 4th grader, we're going to start on item 30, page 23. Okay, what's this word? And this one? Go ahead with the others, but don't go too fast. Okay, great. Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to test number 2. Test number 2 is called reading fluency. Now you're going to need the test booklet for that one. That will be in the response booklet, test number 2, and that'll be right here. I want you to read some sentences and decide if the answer is yes or no. Look at this sentence. It says cow is an animal. Is that true? Okay, because the answer is yes, you would circle the letter Y. Now look at the second sentence. It says a fish lives on land. Is that true? Okay, because the answer is no, you would circle the letter N. Okay, now look at the next 4 sentences. Draw a circle around the correct answer for each sentence and work as fast as you can without making mistakes. Go ahead, you may start. Okay, Carlos, put your pencil down. Thank you very much. We're now going to move on to math calculation test. That's test number 5. Do you like math? Oh, that's great. Glad to hear it. We're going to be using the test booklet. It's right here. And here's your pencil. You can also use the scratch paper right here. On this test, you're going to start on item 9, and that's going to be page 83 for me. And for you, it's right here. Okay, I want you to do some math. Begin with number 9 and answer as many problems as you can. If you come to one that you do not know how to do, just skip it and try the next one. Okay, are you ready? You may begin. Very good, Carlos. Put your pencil down. All right, our next test is called Test 6, Math Fluency. And this one has a 3-minute time limit. You're going to use the same book. We're just going to turn the page. And I'm going to need a stopwatch. Okay, so I'm going to use my watch. And you're going to have 3 minutes. And you're going to work as fast as you can. I want you to work some simple arithmetic problems. Start here. When you finish a row, go to the next one and work each problem until you finish the page. Then go to the top of the next page. If you can't think of an answer, skip that item and move to the next one. Work as fast as you can without making mistakes. Be sure to watch the signs. If you do make a mistake, just cross out the answer you don't want and you'll have 3 minutes. Tell me if you finish before I say stop, okay? You may go ahead. Okay, stop and put your pencil down. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, on to another test. We're going to now move on to test 8. This is writing fluency. You're also going to be using this book. Test 8 is right here. I'm going to ask you to write some short sentences about some pictures. Look at the picture and the words good, cake, is. A short sentence that tells about the picture and uses these words is the cake is good. Now look at the picture and the words pig, fat, is. Use these 3 words and any other words you need to write a short sentence about the picture. You may put the words in any order. I do that right now. Okay, now look at this picture and the words this, ball, big. Use these 3 words and any other words you need to write a sentence about the picture. You may put the words in any order. Good job. And now there's another one. Look at the picture and the words bell, ringing, the. Write a sentence about the picture using these words and any other words you need. Okay. Start here and write a sentence for each picture and its 3 words. You may use the words in any order, but do not use the word in any way. I will tell you any words you want to know. If you cannot think of an easy sentence to write, just skip that one and move on to the next one. When you get to the bottom of the page, go to the top of the next page. Keep working until I tell you to stop. Keep your sentences short and work as fast as you can. You will have 7 minutes. Tell me if you finish before I say stop. Go ahead. You may start. Okay, Carlos, stop. Put your pencil down. Okay, we're going to do one more test, and that's called passage comprehension. On that one, you won't need this booklet or the pencil or the scrap paper. So if you will just look at these pictures, this is a house. Put your finger on the house. This is a cat. Put your finger on a cat. This is a dog. Put your finger on the dog. And this is a chair. Put your finger on the chair. This is a book. Put your finger on the book. Okay, are we ready? Says we're going to start on page 57. I have just given a short demonstration of the Woodcock-Johnson 3 test. Thank you.